Now today we were very surprised to wake up and see a big drop in the temperature back to where I feel like the summer isn't coming. But I do have some little jobs to do on the taxi fleet here. Get them ready for the upcoming summer. And the first thing I want to do today, I want to see if these mirrors are going to work out on the 750, the mirrors I just painted. I have that. I have some new tire changing stuff to go over, see if that's going to work, and pretty soon, in fact we ought to do it as soon as possible, get the new tire on the 650. And there's always a thing, the more bikes you have, the more maintenance you have, and at some point in time you just got to knuckle down and do the maintenance. So what I always do in the morning is make sure that they haven't delivered a package overnight. I was waiting for my muffler any day now, it should come. That's what they say anyway, but I don't know about that. We're still waiting for the muffler on this, and I still want to make some custom camera mounts. Now, in the last couple of months, I've been really happy with the way these mirrors have worked out. The mirrors have really, the first time I rode this bike, I said, love the mirrors. So we have mirrors coming for from the RD, and of course the GS is as good as it gets. But right now, today's little project will be to see how close those mirrors are. They don't even, I'm not sure. They're half of the mirror is your shoulder. You know, if they would just make them an inch longer. Now the replacement ones are about an inch longer. I don't know how they're going to work out though. So to take the old mirrors off, it's on this bike pretty simple. You've got to pull off this piece of the body fairing. And I don't remember if you can get in there with baby fingers. Every one of these bikes has something that's a little tricky. So step one is to just take this piece of the bodywork off and see if we can get our little baby hands in there without taking a windshield off. I don't remember. It's the kind of thing you wish you remembered, but being my age, you always forget. You know, this piece of bodywork does come off. Ah, looks like I can get right in at the bolts. Lucky me. You never know how lucky a boy can be. And believe me, it's not always that easy to get in and get at the bolts. Some of the bikes I know are a pain. This looks like it'll be relatively simple, and I'll be able to do this swap in a very short amount of time. What'll mean I'll have extra time for coffee today. As you can tell, it's just not enough clearance to get a socket in there. So basically I've got to do this the old-fashioned way. But even so, we will get them off. Sometime it's your lucky day, but boy, not always. You know, if you only had a little bit smaller fingers, they'd fit right in there. It would be so convenient. I know I suffer from having, it's loose already. Suffer from having fingers that are always just a little bit too fat to get where you have to put them. And I'm sure I put Loctite on these bolts, which is going to make it even more fun. Anyway, let's get this one off. See if there's going to be any brackets they're going to have to make or anything different. I guess we're going to find out. Oh, I do like the shape of these mirrors. They're pretty craters. They're craters, and I got them from Amazon. They're $14, $15, whatever the hell they were. And you can't, if you search around, there's always somebody's got them on sale for $2 or $3 cheaper. Anyway, they give you some real nice polished hardware, and this is the main thing. They give you the nuts similar to what I order from Bolt Depot that sink into the bodywork and make it really a lot easier to install. Now what they do, they give you this little rubber spacer grommet, whatever you want to call it. And of course each one is unique to its side. This snaps on, and what that allows it, hopefully you don't screw up the paint when you have that in there. But it's kind of a universal mount. I bet this fits a variety of bikes, that's for sure. And if it doesn't, I guess not be a big deal to adapt it into it. But again, I really do like these mirrors. I hope these are going to work out, and I won't know till I test ride the bike, of course. They have a really nice look. No, it's not an exact alignment, and I don't want to put tension under anything, so I'm going to take the Dremel tool and just open up that hole just a little bit. The alternative would be I could kind of squeeze this in, and I don't want to do that. And that's how you wind up, at least I've seen, that fairings crack and things, is when you put them under tension. Turned out to be a lot trickier than I thought it would be, because number one, the mirrors are different. The left side and the right side, they have an angle here. The gaskets only go on one way. They don't go, you can't switch them if you want the mirrors to match. So here's what I had to do, and it got a little tricky just to get this the way I wanted it. You really need a ball end wrench, or you got to be able to have little tiny fingers to get in there. The ball end wrench is a big help. Well, in this case, it's really not a help because I can't even get the ball end wrench in there. But it is simple. I did have to grind away the bolt holes to get this test one in. So what I want to do is put one on and then make sure I'm happy the way it looks and the way it, from the driver's seat. Yeah, everything looks good when you're just walking by a bike in a parking lot and you look at it. What you want, what I want to have, is that it looks good when I'm riding the bike. Okay, so well, from the driver's position, you can pretty much see how much better visibility. In fact, on this mirror, my shoulder, when I'm sitting on a motorcycle, my shoulder is here. On this motorcycle, my shoulder is here. On this, so what I've gained about 3 inches of mirror, and that's going to be wonderful. That'll really be great. Now, these have an angle built into them. So one of the things you want to do is, if you're going to use these, measure the 2 bolt holes and make sure you could. They give you the dimensions when you order these on Amazon, and you certainly wouldn't want to. Well, they're nice polished bolts anyway in there. That's one thing. And they move back and forth, of course, and then you just tighten that Allen bolt down. And again, the mirror shape is subjective, but boy, to me, that's going to be it. The fact that I can see a lot more of the road and a lot less of my shoulder, it's going to be making this whole modification worthwhile. Now, one of the things I do, and it may be something that average people don't do, I don't know, is every time I ride a bike, any one of the ones that are registered, I always, at the end of the ride, I try to think, what would I like to make a little bit better, a little bit different? Where could I make the bike a little more comfortable, a little safer, a little less prone to need maintenance, and whatever. And the mirrors have proven to be just one of the big things that I would have never expected. The difference by having those good mirrors on the FZR, that really woke me up. I really was impressed when I rode that bike. Now, little things that make a difference. I always have a schedule. Whenever I leave the house, I have to be home a certain time, have to do things with Karen or pick up the baby or whatever. I always like to know what time it is. Now, some of the bikes have these clocks that, you have to be an eagle to read the clock. These were $10 a piece in AutoZone years ago. And what happens is they also have, if you click through them, it tells you the temperature. It's 64 degrees right now. So, and it tells you the time, of course. So these are real nice additions to the bike. They have little 2-sided tape sticky backs, and you can put it wherever it's convenient, and it's very convenient knowing what time it is. One of the little changes that make a bike more enjoyable for me to ride is knowing what time it is. In fact, in my own personal case, what I like to do is, there's always something that at the end of a ride, especially a long ride, there's a lot of things that, especially when it comes to seats and comfort things like hand grips and stuff, if you're only going to ride for 100 miles, nothing hurts. It's when you go for that 200-mile ride, you have the whole day, and then you say, oh my God, at the end of the day, something doesn't feel right. So I guess I got to do the same grinding on this side. I see the holes are pretty much the same, but it's not a big deal. you can see what happens. The factory mirrors have a given dimension where the ones you get have a spacer. You can move it back open and wide. The problem is you got to be sure that you're in the range, or you got to be prepared to drill another hole. So this is what I'm talking about now. This is the riding position. Here's where my arm would be, but I want to see my head is here. This is how much of my hand I see in the mirrors. I only see the tip of the iceberg, and if I switch hands here, I'm only looking at, you can see how much of that, I'm getting about 2/3 more visibility because these mirrors stick out a little bit. I'm not just looking at my jacket. A safety thing, and in my case, I just like having it that way. I think it's just a free bonus that they look nice too. I think they look a little nicer than the other ones had like a Clark Kent look. These have a little more of a sport bike look. Again, if I didn't mention it, they're made by Crater and they're available from Amazon. And I think the list price is 20 bucks, but you always see them on sale. Now with the mirrors done, one of the things I ordered up, I thought this would be handy, or at least I could review it and see if it was any better than what I already have. I'm very concerned all the time. I try to change tires and be very careful not to scratch rims. A lot of times I just cut the old tires off. I don't want to run tire irons up onto my polished rims. But we've done it several different ways. There's no better or worse way. It's just whatever you like. But this is one thing. I saw them using this on the internet. They don't give you any directions. There's a little video. There's more than one video, in fact, out there. I've had to use these. We're going to try to use them. We're going to have to do some tire changing in the near future. And we always like to add to our knowledge of how to keep those rims from getting scratched. So today this turned out to be a pretty good day. These mirrors went on pretty uneventfully. As I'm sitting on it, I can see back way better than before. It should be a nice upgrade. A low dollar upgrade, and that's what we're always looking to do, is make the bike safer, make it more fun, they even look a little nicer. I tell you, they got a more modern look anyway. And it's something I think anybody can do. An easy job. It was a good job to do today. The trouble is we ran out of time, and it's time to go get miles, and that is the best part of our day for sure. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Enjoy sharing our life, sharing our motorcycle adventures, our rides, and all the things that make life worth living. And thanks for watching. Ready for me to buy you a motorcycle? How about if I buy you a motorcycle? How about a Yamaha R1? So what do you think? Who's winning this battle? Am I winning? Or are you winning?
May the force be with you.
May the force be with you.